Hey everyone, in this lesson we will talk about the half-wave rectifier with an RL load. However, this time we added something which we call the freewheeling diode or the commutating diode. So what happens here exactly? In the previous circuit, which is supply with one diode, and we have RL load. So what is the problem exactly with having an RL load? The problem is that if you compare this circuit here, this is the out waveforms of circuit, and to compare it with the first case, which is like this. We had a diode and a pure resistive load. We would like to compare between this and this one with respect to V output. So V output, as you remember, in the pure resistive load was like this, from 0 going like this, okay, till pi, then becoming 0, 2 pi again, and like this, and 0, and so on, and repeats itself. Okay, now what is the difference here? If you look at this, is the first one, which is a pure resistive load, and this one with the negative part, with the negative portion here, is the RL load, right? Now if you obtain V average of the pure resistive load and V average of the RL load, V average of this wave, the red one, which is representing the R load, and obtain the average voltage for this wave, which is representing the RL load, you will find that V average for the pure resistive load, or VDC, is higher in the pure resistive load than the RL load. Now why is this? Due to the presence of this negative part. This negative part made V average become lower because we added a negative part to the wave. So if I would like to remove this V average, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add another diode in parallel with the load, which is called the freewheeling diode or the commutating diode. So the circuit will be like this: V supply, D1, D2, R, and L. Okay. Now a freewheeling diode, which we call D2, it can be connected across an RL load as shown in figure. So that both of these diodes cannot be forward biased at the same time. What I mean by this, you will understand this when we go to the figure. So diode D1 will be on when the source is positive, and D2 will be on when the source is negative. Now when we apply a positive voltage, D1 will be on and D2 will be off, and the equivalent circuit will be like this. So let's start with the first one. So we have our waveform V supply, and with respect to time, or omega t, right? So the supply voltage is like this, right? We have positive and negative. So during the positive part, what will happen exactly is that this diode will become a short circuit. So the current will move from the supply through this load, right? Like this. So our circuit, this one will be turned off. It will not be operating. All of the current will go from the supply to the RL load and charge the inductance. So the circuit will be like this: short circuit, and this one will be open circuit, and L will be charged, right? Now when we start going to the negative half here, this part starting from here, remember that D1 or the inductance will start giving electrical current, right? So the inductance has two options. Number one, to go through the diode easily, like this, D2, and go like this. It will rotate like this from inductance to the diode like this, or it can choose to face the supply like this and go through D1. Which one is easier for the current? The easier path is to go through D2. Now why is this? Because this one, during the negative part, it will be like this. positive and negative. It will reverse its polarity and would like to give current in the opposite direction. So the inductance, if the current goes through this path, it will be much difficult than going through this path. That's why the current will go through D2 like this, and D1 will be turned off. So the circuit will be like this. D2 will become a short circuit parallel to RL. Okay, so our circuit is divided into two parts. The first one, during the positive cycle, D1 will conduct and D2 will be off, so will be short circuit like this going to the load. During the negative half, or when inductance has stored the energy, it will go through D2 like this instead of facing the supply. So it will go through D2 and like this. So it will become a short circuit parallel to RL. So D2 will conduct and D1 is turned off. Okay, similar to what we just said. Now if we look at the waveform, so here during the positive cycle from 0 to pi, V output is equal to V supply, right? V output equal to V supply. So from 0 to pi, V output equal to V supply. What about from pi to beta, the extinction angle? The extinction angle, if you remember in the previous example, we had the current going from 0 like this and then going down to beta, right, at which we have current equal to 0. Then it will become 0 like this and then start increasing again like this and then goes down to beta plus 2 pi, right? So here from pi to beta, the inductance will give stored energy through D2, right? So this one will be a short circuit. So the circuit will be like this. So the voltage across the output will be equal to what? Equal to 0, since it is parallel to a short circuit. So during this part from pi to beta, it will be 0. Okay, after this supply or this stored energy finishes, D2 and D1 will be both turned off. So the voltage will be also equal to 0. That's why in general we will have during the circuit from 0 to pi we will have V output, and from pi to 2 pi will be 0. Okay, now number 2, during here, if you look at this current, this is a current waveform. We will understand now the difference between this and the previous one. Okay, so anyway, you will find that from 0 to pi, when D1 is conducting, so the current of D1, this one representing current of D1 and this representing D2. So for D1, it will start from 0 to pi during its conduction from 0 to pi. And for D2, it will start from pi to beta, or here in this example from pi to 2 pi, right? From pi to 2 pi. So their summation at any instant, this is very, very important. We have I output, okay? So I output equal to ID1 from KCL at this point. ID1 plus ID2 will be equal to I output plus ID2. So I output equal to the summation of the two currents. Now this is very important. Why? Because as you can see here that in this, when we have a freewheeling diode, I output is not equal to I supply, right? I supply is equal to ID1. So in this circuit, they are not equal to each other. Okay, so if you add these two waveforms, you will get I output. Okay, now the very important question here is that why does the current looks like this? So if you get back, let me just show you. This is very, very important too. For the current I output in the first circuit, it starts from 0 to pi, then start discharging to beta. Okay, so this extinction angle depends on what? Depends on the values of R and L. value of inductance and resistance. And also the higher the value of inductance, the larger the angle. So by increasing inductance L, and instead of having beta like here, we can make it beta here exactly. So for example, the current will start discharging slowly till 2 pi, then start charging again, then discharging at 2 pi. And even if we increase the inductance too much, add the large inductance, and instead of having from here like this, it will start from here and start discharging and does not reach 0 at 2 pi. And starting from 2 pi, the supply will start charging the inductance again. So it will start charging like this, and then discharging, discharging, and so on. So this is what we call a continuous current waveform. Okay, continuous current, because you can see here that the current does not go to 0. You can see a value, then goes down, discharge, then it still have a value, charge, discharge, and so on. So it's a continuous waveform. However, in this case, in the first case here, we had discontinuous start existing, then here discontinuous becoming 0, then a charge again, then 0. So this is a discontinuous waveform. It is not continuous. Okay, so the continuous or discontinuous waveform depends on what? Depends on the values of inductance itself and resistance, especially the inductance. The higher the inductance, the slower the current will start discharging through the circuit. That's why in this example here, which you can see, the current waveform can be as before. It can be like this, from 0 to beta, then start decaying to beta, for example, starting 2 pi, then goes back down to beta, then charge again, then discharge, it goes to 0, similar to the previous slide. However, here the current in this waveform is assumed to be continuous. It means that this inductance is very large and led to this continuous waveform. You can see that the current does not go to 0, okay, because it is a continuous waveform. So it is not specific or not related to the freewheeling diode. However, the continuity of the current depends on the inductance and resistance. Okay, so we can draw it like this or draw it continuously like this, depending on what? Depending on these two values. Okay.